the most important thing was, I believe, like around 12 minutes in the game, we just saw that Parting was able to really get a strong position and just capitalize on the fact that Grubby was not able to really defend his natural
Yeah.
and lost way too many probes. That's when he lost like the 20 probes, and then it turned into 65 a
Yeah.
couple minutes later. So Parting was really good, and I like the fact that a lot of times in PvP, people feel the need to, if they have an advantage, just to try to kill.
Yeah.
But this time, Parting played a tempo game where he says, I'll take this advantage, and I'll take this advantage, economic advantage, army advantage, upgrade advantage. And eventually, Grubby just had no chances. We saw it, I mean, by the end of the game, Parting was +3, +2, +2
Yeah.
against 1-1. So,
Yeah. Grubby unfortunately didn't have the resources to keep up with the deck, as you mentioned, and just overall wound up losing the game just because he was slowly bleeding out,
yeah.
if you will.
Good, yeah,
So,
absolutely.
well done by Parting. We'll go ahead and get ready
Yep.
for game number 2 pretty soon. I actually think we have a message. Gonna see which map we're gonna be choosing, but wow. Overall, man, I really think that the key to that game, the moment, actually, was really the Stalkers blinking into the main, and
Yep.
we saw Grubby come to the bottom left, and that allowed the Stalkers to get out. If he had maybe kill off all the Stalkers that came in to kill off his probes,
Yeah,
he
that
could
was
follow up
huge.
with a counterattack and possibly win that game. But he kind of overcommitted to coming in the bottom left. That's a really hard position to defend against Blink Stalkers because you want to kind of hold off all of their avenues of escaping. But
Yeah. I completely agree. I think those are small tactics. It's not what wins in the games, but what gives them the edge in the situation. And especially in PvP, which is probably, I would say right now, one of the most technical matchups in StarCraft, just because it's all about execution and strategy and small little tactics like that to really give you this the little advantage is what makes PvP kind of thrilling to some people, but also really frustrating, as a lot of
Yeah.
people have voiced their expressive thoughts on how such a like an unforgiving situation that PvP is. So
Yep.
as we get ready to go into the next game, guys, we're gonna get the players ready.
yep, it's going to be Antigua Shipyard as our map, just waiting for Parting.
Yeah, we're gonna try to get Parting straightly up here, but
Yep, we're going to go and get Parting in here, and we'll see if he can take the series 2-0 here, or if Grubby can come back and make it into a 1-1 series,
Yeah, you
force
know,
it into an ace match.
Grubby's wife is literally following Grubby everywhere, sitting next to him, making sure he's completely comfortable. But people are saying that she's not even blinking while watching him
Are
because
you
she's
serious?
just so intent for supporting him, and she's just here. So Cassandra, thank you so much for being such a supportive wife.
That reminds me of Boxer and Jessica. Jessica did the same thing.
Absolutely,
I
yeah.
believe it was Orlando when I saw Jessica just walking on. She even set up like all of his stuff for him, make sure it's all measured out. Like, it's amazing
Yeah,
how supportive.
even Tumbo's wife, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Tumbo's wife, she ironed shirt. I was like, man, I need Lily to iron my shirts or something.
She
'cause,
yelled at me because I didn't let her iron my my blazer today.
that's a
'Cause-
new one. Girls
yeah.
yelling at me for not letting me iron their shirts when I tell them too much to iron my shirt. Nah,
You
I'm
are
totally
so mean.
kidding.
You are so mean.
Women are to be worshipped in our society, guys.
Uh,
But thank you so much to MLG for having us. We're just so pleasure to be here. My name is Dan Frodan.
Oh, there he is.
This is Tim, Robin. Robin's also, of course, he's been here with MLG for a while, but this is my first time, and I'm really excited to have you here. Thanks again to our producer, one of our camera producer. I don't even know the exact term, but his name is Chris, and he does basically everything for this stream. And I don't know, man, this is some pimped out stuff. I'm pretty sure NASA is jealous of our equipment here. There's just so many buttons and lights that I'm pretty sure we could successfully get to Mars before the Russians do.
I like to go to Jupiter, if anything, man.
Okay, well,
So
it's
big.
a little bit off course, but still,
Dude, the
still pretty
asteroid belt,
impressive.
man. I bet I could play that young game. Okay, guys, so
Absolutely. Let's jump straight into this game.
yeah, it's gonna be Grubby versus Startail Parting. Will you go ahead and take away the introductions, good sir?
Absolutely. So here in the top right, we have our blue Protoss. His name is Grubby. He is a former Warcraft 3 legend, to say the least. And in the bottom left, we have Parting from Team Startail, the red Protoss from Korea. And Parting actually didn't get to a good start off this tournament, so there's 3 Protosses in their group, I believe. And that is very, very tough because it's a lot of PvP, but Parting actually has really good PvP in Korea. So specifically, it's actually statistically his best matchup, and it's no surprise. We saw a very strong play there.
Yeah, he's kind of like Oz, in my opinion. His PvP is so solid, and he's one of those players that says, you know what,
Yeah.
it's not a coin flip. I can tell you any day that I will beat you, no matter what in a
Yeah.
PvP. So even Oz himself says it like that as well. Just Korean Protoss seem to really have figured out what exactly they need to do in every single
Yeah.
situation. So Antigua Shipyard. Interesting map here. You know, it's kind of like Daybreak. We could have expansions in it as well. Blink Stalkers, I feel, are very, very powerful on this map with the follow-up with the robotics facility. Yeah, the observer can actually come down to the bottom of the main of Grubby if you want, and actually kind of blink on in when observer gets that vision. And it's really, really important to make sure that you go for a safer play, get Euro box until the make sure you snipe that observer, and that kind of really holds off that blink stalker timing. But we'll see what the plan is here for parting.
Yeah.
As we do have the first gateway now coming out, should be having gases from both players pretty soon.
It's interesting you point that out because this map is also fantastic for cannon rushing. Even though we know both players are not doing that because we both see the gateway and the assimilators up, but I just like to point out, for those of you who play ladder and hate getting cheese, if you play PvP on this map, it's very easy to get cheese based off the way you put cannons up here and try to force your way by hitting the assimilator and the probes. And it's just a really brutal thing to do, especially because it's forced cross spawn, so it's technically a two-player map, so you know where your opponent spawns.
Yeah.
Lots of room for that. So if you're ever in ladder, make sure to protect this sweet spot, especially in the early games of the game.
Sweet spot, man.
Yeah, I watched too many streams of people like in control getting sniped by Combat X, and I'm just, oh man, I was like,
he's
oh
retiring,
gosh,
apparently.
every single time. But yeah, supposedly he's retiring.
Well, Cyber and Air scores both being thrown out from both players. Should be seeing a second guess pretty soon. Now we'll see if Parting goes ahead and delays his gas like we saw last game.
He actually did it.
Yeah. Second gateway.
He gets the second gas all this time, and he actually changes it up. So he actually cut a probe to actually do that. You can tell because he's behind in supply right now, and that Zealot does make up a big majority of it. But he's just behind by one probe, no big deal.
Yeah.
And we do see Grubby's actually saving our Chrono Boost. He actually saved to 75, and wow, he's actually putting a pile. Don't tell anyone, Tim.
I'm gonna tell somebody.
Our secret with the probe.
Yeah, the probe disappeared for a second and then went straight back to scouting once again. It's gonna go back to circulating around. Smart play from Grubby. Make sure your opponent sees that probe at all times.
Wow.
Yeah, it does finish up. Warp gate is on its way. How many gateways is Grubby gonna throw up? We got the first warp gate on the way.
He's gonna go for a 40. There's no way he won't. He has too much of an opportunity to do so. He puts two more up, and is he gonna actually go for a fourth? Wow, actually he is not just yet. So he's just gonna go for 3 at the moment.
Yes.
And you know, I said there's no way he didn't, but he just proved me wrong because he did stay on 1 gas, and I figured, you know, 1 gas you get 4 gates, but I guess at this point Grubby's gonna chrono boost it out his warp gate and another stalker and try to see if he can pressure a little bit. But it could be also the psychological thing. Parting is gonna see the pylon. Oh man, I thought he was gonna actually go around the gas.
And the thing is, warp gate's not done. It still has some time, so he can actually take out this pylon really, really quickly. And he's actually gonna pull his probes off, and he's gonna actually hold this off perfectly, just fine. You can see actually there's a good 15 to 20 seconds before that warp gate even finishes up. But at the same time, we have Grubby
might let him up the ramp, and keep in mind a lot of mine time was lost. The Parting didn't manage to pick it up, but the Zealot and the Stalker gets up. Now keep in mind, this is the exact reason why Parting goes for 3 Stalker into Robo. It's just a safe play.
Micro.
And Grubby, look at that great pullback from Parting, not even really losing any health, 5 damage on his Stalker. As right now Grubby trying to force his way up the ramp, but not really even enough to capitalize on 3 gate warp-ins. As Parting with 2 gateways has held off the 3 gate aggression thanks to that supply block, and looks like Grubby for the meantime is just going to try to pat things up right now because again the supply block 34-26. That's 2 pylons he needs to make.
Yeah, that's hurtful. That's just going to delay him a tad bit. He's got a looks like Robo is now going to be following up here from Parting. Potentially an immortal time it could be a possibility here. Be really, really strong. And of course Parting knows that as well. Throwing down, it looks like 1 more gate at the same time, so he'd be switching into, I believe, 3 gate Robo. And looking over at Grubby, what's his plan here? He's got his 2 pylons now finishing up, now following up, grabbing his second gas. But wow, that was really great help from Parting, and he's actually going to expand behind this.
Now this is something Grubby kind of needs to do. He needs to take a risk because he's just behind. As you can see that Grubby basically during this whole time invested in 3 gateways really early and a sentry into Stalker, while Parting was really able to just make as many probes as he wanted and get his tech up. So most importantly, Parting will have that robotics time on him, and Grubby just started. So that's a good 70-80 seconds that Grubby will be behind in terms of just technology research. And that'll give Parting the availability to do what he wants within that time frame. So we'll see whether or not Grubby is going to try to see if he can feign pressure, because sometimes if you see that many Stalkers, Grubby could reveal those Stalkers and play a little bit of mind games saying, am I going to blink? Like, am I going blink? Am I trying to be something sneaky? Am I trying to, you know, maybe even sneak in Dark Templar? Because he's shown that he's willing to go DTs. So it's never a possibility. And Grubby is, as much as he's a micro specialist, he's also a mastermind strategist.
Yeah, it's so true, man. I mean, I completely agree with you. I was going to try and add on top of that. But yeah, basically, Grubby is fantastic. I love his play so much. And it looks like both players are going to play a little bit passively here. Parting really doing no indication of moving forward. In fact, he's got an observer on the way. So he's going the safer route here. He knew he got
I like that.
Yeah, he had a little bit of lead. He just wants to get an idea of what exactly Grubby's going for. He's going to get over there and realize, you know what, he's expanding as well. He's like, well, this is interesting. I could have just gone for a one-base attack and maybe won the game, but he's going to see the natural here. It's finished up for Grubby, and just try and go a different route. We have a Twilight Council now on the way here for a Twilight Council on the way here for Grubby, which means he'll be going for that blink, of course, and that's the style he loves, man.
Yeah, man. Grubby's it's just like blink is a natural reaction to humans. It's just inevitable that Grubby will go blink in PvP. It's like kind of like rain in Seattle.
It's gonna happen.
It's just gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. Warp Prism on the way
like,
too.
A failed Kardashian marriage. It's gonna happen.
Oh dear, he went there. He went there, guys. Rodin, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like we have the third and fourth gas now finishing up for Grubby. Parting doing the same thing as well. So relatively, even though we had Parting get a pretty decent lead, everything's kind of matching up a little bit. He's only ahead by 6 supply. We have a Robotics Bay now following up. So he's definitely wanting to go Colossi, of course. And it looks like Grubby just still kind of chilling at his natural. Actually, I want to pull up his vision really, really quick, if I may. And he actually just, oh, I'm sorry. Let's go ahead and click on Grubby really quick. Yep, he's got Observer seeing everything there. So awesome, awesome, awesome. Did he see? No, he did not see the Robotics Bay, actually.
Yeah, so he didn't see the Robotics Bay, but more importantly, because he didn't see the Robotics Bay and two gases and 3 get Robo, he says, okay, he's got to expand. So he knows. Grubby's going to try to see if he can drop something here. Now, Grubby is up in workers, and the reason why is because he's been spending all of his Chrono Boost on probes. Parting did Chrono Boost his Nexus a little bit, but Grubby's trying to take that extra advantage and get behind even more in tech, because again, he could be going for Blink, he could be Chrono Boosting out his Immortals. But for now, we're going to focus on this Warp Prism. This is going to be a spotlight, just because whether or not he's really effective with this Warp Prism will dictate how much going into the May game he's going to be up.
Yeah, and you know what? Looking at the minimap, we actually had Party moving away. He was in the middle of the map here. The Observer scouted all of that from Grubby at the natural. He didn't see anything in the army, so he immediately got his Warp Prism and went straight to the main. He's going to go ahead and do a little bit of micro here. A couple force fields do go down, but actually misses the probe. A little bit of a misstep there with his force field. It could have been. That Zealot would have chewed through those probes, but he will actually be retreating and not doing too much damage. I think he got one probe there.
He got one probe.
Yeah.
But he didn't lose any units, I believe. Yeah, so, I mean, it's pretty much just pressure and Grubby during this whole time, obviously. The most important thing is he isn't sure how ahead Parting is because he doesn't actually have that much info on the natural. You can see, again, he doesn't really have that much vision until he just actually went in there with the Observer. So right now we see that Grubby's just going to resort back to a little bit of light harass while he gets up his own tech. His Robotics Bay is about 1/3 done. Getting out his own Immortal as well, so pretty standard transitions here. Back to that kind of Colossus, Stalker, Immortal, maybe throwing a Sentry or two, but for the most part, pretty default compositions PvP.
I like how active he's being with the Warp Prism. It looks like he's going to queue up another drop down in the bottom right. Again, it's trying to be spontaneous with it. Maybe you can get lucky and you kill off a couple of units and your opponent's not paying attention. We do have what looks like +1/+1, a little over halfway done here for Parting, so he's definitely going for the upgrades. At the same time, looks like we have a bit of an engagement outside of the main there. Looks like a pylon was taken down. There's an Observer available, and if he had the chance, he would blink straight into the main and try and do some damage, but Parting one step ahead of him was ready to go. Warp Prism here, the station, ready to pop on in if need be. But it looks like, actually, if you look at the mini-map, main and natural, Parting's doing a good job of splitting up his units to deal with these pockets of
This is really
pressure.
clever by Grubby, too, because he's only revealed Stalkers, but in reality, he has Immortals and Colossi on the way, so he's making it seem like he's going in for a huge blink all-in of some sort, or a huge timing attack, but more importantly, is this Observer going to go down? But during this whole time, Grubby's actually dropping the natural, and he got a huge view of everything Parting has. So he saw the entire army, both in the main and the natural, and he sees the Stalkers and the Immortals. Grubby tried to blink up, but he actually lost the Observer just in time. So a fantastic play here by Parting, just to deny that vision and prevent what could have been a, and you never know, if Grubby was able to really blink in, destroy a lot of the Immortals and Stalkers, he would have had an advantage in the fight, especially if he can keep those Immortals alive for himself.
Party's getting stronger right now. Let's check into Grubby. He has no upgrades right now. 0-0. 1-1 just finished up for Parting at the moment. He's going to be feeling very, very solid with any push that he may want to do. Checking into the Harvesters. 52-50 in Grubby's favor. That's pretty good. Thermal Lance is on the way as well. We put the production queue for Grubby. It's about to finish up. Twilight Council about to finish up actually for Parting. He looks like he wants to get maybe charge lot?
Yeah, +2 as well. Just be able to get that charge is also a pretty valuable upgrade, but we do see that Grubby is moving out here in the middle of the map now. The thing is, Grubby does have information perfect information on his opponent. He knows exactly what he can and can't do. He's going to utilize the Colossus view here to see if he can blink, and he does. Is he going to be able to get the Robo in time? Where is Parting's army? It's actually completely at the natural here, and so Parting is not going to be able to get there. Grubby can probably actually start heading back here as his Stalkers have done the actual mission, and now Grubby, that's a fantastic snipe, now can utilize that to his ability, but Parting is actually taking a fast third base here.
Yeah, he sure is. There's a pylon already, though, here for Grubby, so he is aware of it. He'll be able to whip in a couple of Zealots if he wants to. Maybe get a cancel for stuff. But at the same time, it looks like he's going to go ahead and maneuver his way on forward, still on 2 bases. It looks like at the same time, he's going to stand behind us as well.
Yep.
A game that we feel like Parting had a little bit of lead in. It seems to be starting to get really even for our players. A great snipe on that robotics facility was huge for Grubby, and he knows it. And actually cancels that Nexus. Grubby, nice job, man. Really being all over the place and just taking what he can get. Yeah.
Grubby first of all, he kind of reset the tech advantage. And now he's kind of taking a small economic advantage. Because remember, he was up in probes ever slightly, and now he's able to get the third up. The only thing that Parting kind of has right now is the upgrades, which is actually pretty big. And he also has a little bit more diversified tech, because he did have that. He did have the Templar Archives, I believe, finished somewhere around there. So he does have that advantage, I believe, and he is also going for things like charge. So he does have the upgrade advantage in that department, but. Grubby, if he can keep that third base, we saw what happened last game with Parting, and look at that, Grubby still being completely annoying with these Stalkers. He's going to snipe one of the Immortals,
down.
or will he?
Oh no, he missed there, but second Immortal will be going down, but they do enough damage to help him clean up these Stalkers. 5 left against the 4 here for Grubby. He's going to go ahead and blink away. It looks like, oh, did he? Yeah, there we go, finally blinks away. It looks like he may have been looking at his army that's moving in the middle of the map here. Is he going to get aggressive and keep heading his way towards that natural in third? His third is about to finish up, it looks like. It actually sure did, as he has the transfer going on over at his home base. But, man, I love how aggressive Grubby's been, man. He's been so in the face of Parting. Actually has a supply lead, 173 to 170 at the moment.
I actually take that back, what I said before. I thought Parting actually finished Templar Archives, but Grubby actually was the one who did. I just remember seeing on the production tab, but there's a huge battle going on. So he actually has that tech advantage as well. So this is actually looking pretty good for Grubby in terms of the next couple minutes, because he does have that third advantage. And if you shut down this third, it'll be absolutely huge. But we do see Parting has a good number of Colossus, 7 to be exact, against the 3 of Grubby. And does Grubby really want to fight this? This is a huge army here from Parting, as he is on the pursuit. His Zealots are charging, but Force Fields do try to see if he can stall for a little bit of time, but Grubby is on the run here.
Yeah, Zealots actually taking a lot of damage as Grubby does turn around. Of course, they were a little bit extended from their the rest of the army because they were chasing the Force Fields. Were pretty nice there from Grubby. Grubby going to go ahead and spread out his units here. 7 Colossus against the 4 here. I think a 5th is about to join. Stalkers now taking a lot of damage, though. The Zealots do break on through. Immortals charging forward. They want to take out any Colossi they can, but there's so much area effect damage available here for Parting. He knows that more Zealots whooping on in. Grubby 433, 139 to 128 supply. The Colossi still moving forward, pulling up the health bars. They're actually pretty darn healthy at the moment.
Yeah, Grubby's done a good job protecting them, but these charge lots can now get them. Look at how fast they dissipate into the air as soon as Grubby is able to focus fire with some of those Colossus. Now, we do see that Parting is able to focus fire. Now, Parting, he could be overextending. Keep in mind, it is absolutely brutal to lose your Colossi en masse. So right now we see Parting is trying to kite as much as possible. 1 Colossus did go down. A 2nd is in danger of dying here, but Grubby also has to make sure not to overextend himself as well. Both players are reinforcing as much as possible, but Grubby does have that defender's advantage. He only has 1 robotics despite the fact that he's on 3 base. Normally when you see the movement for 3 base, you go for a double robotics as soon as possible. But right now, let's go ahead and check in on the unit counting station. 57 probes to 64, so Grubby does have a pretty distinct worker advantage. Still hasn't really utilized his Warp Prism in the bottom left.
I think he's forgotten about it.
But yeah, honestly, I think Parting was expecting something to do it, but I mean, Grubby was so busy making sure his Colossus didn't die, who could blame him?
Yeah, definitely. I think the upgrades are really important in the game as well for Parting. Checking into Grubby right now, I think he's still... let's find one of his units really quick. I think he's still at 0. Yeah, 001, man. He's got 002 finally on the way. But again, looking at Parting, he's at 2-2 at the moment. Those upgrades are huge. In terms of armor, of course, he has that advantage over Grubby, and of course, a 1 attack upgrade as well. So it looks like more units are still being moving across the middle of the map. He's still reinforcing ahead, 154 to 148 actually. So Grubby did a good job with, because he had the econ lead, of resupplying. But again, upgrades are really huge. We'll like to see maybe 3-3 starting to be queued up for Parting if he doesn't push out pretty soon. But actually, he's grabbing his 4th base at the moment. So he's feeling very, very confident with his map control. As we do actually have some units warping in from the top left corner, and it looks like they might be moving down to the natural /3rd.
Yeah, so it looks like we see Grubby trying to do some mild harass, and actually it's a pretty good call because Parting really doesn't have much defense here. And we do see that Parting is trying to go really aggressive though, as Grubby, the vast majority of his army are Zealots and Colossi. Now he has caught up in the Colossus count relatively, although Parting still has 7 versus the 6. Or no, Grubby has 7 as well, so it's a pretty even fight now. It comes down to who can position better and who can get the better initiation here. We're going to talk about Grubby, but right now he's poking with his Colossus first, and the charge dots are ready. They smell blood. Looks like we're going to have a full-out engagement. Grubby with the charge dots. Guardian Shield pops here for Grubby to reduce some of the damage, but there are significantly more Archons from Parting, and keep in mind that 202 is not just a cool area code. It is going to be significant damage here on all of Grubby's units as he is forced to pull probes, and that could mean the end as Parting here is pressing forward with his Colossus, not cutting back. GG, and
GG.
Grubby will concede game number 2, which means Parting takes the series 2-0.
2-0 his opponent, but they were very good long macro-oriented types of games. Like there was no one basing really going on. That was actually some fantastic play for PvP, and I was actually a little surprised.
Yeah. It was really well executed. I think Grubby also played a really good mind game, but in the end, I think he just was not able to get the positions he wanted. For example, those Colossus, while it's cool to poke out, the idea is he was never really able to engage on the position he wanted to because Parting was able to send the charge dots forward and get some additional damage on the Colossus. And from then on, Grubby was in a more defensive posture because his Colossus can never fully engage, and he was cramped on his ramp because the outside the Antigua natural ramp is a much stronger open area, and Grubby just had to kind of clump into his natural.
He tried to bait Parting to come on in. He had a lot of Zealots ready to go. He had the Colossus say, hey, come on in. And then Zealots went and charging on in, but they were just too much. The upgrades were too much there. Just overall, he really just crushed Grubby. Just the upgrades were really important. He had the same Colossi count, but again, you just saw everything melt so darn fast. So.
Well, think of it this way. I mean, every Colossus, an upgrade does 2 more damage, but that's spread across, let's say, 3-4 units.
Yeah.
So that's 8 damage, but he had +2.
Yeah.
So that's actually 16 damage per unit per Colossus, and you multiply that by 7. Quick math is 112 damage
Done.
being spread out per Colossus. So that's it's an insane amount of damage being done, and honestly, it's just way too much to overcome.
Well played by Grubby. I mean, he's definitely something that. So yeah, looks like we're gonna go ahead and close up the stream, guys. This was the last cast for gameplay stream number 1 today. Yep. It's the last cast for gameplay stream number 1. Thank you so much for coming out and watch us. I am Robin, and this is Froden, of course.
So make sure to tune in tomorrow, where, of course, tomorrow is Saturday, March 24th. We're going to start at 11 a.m. Eastern, which, of course, means on Pacific it is going to be 8 a.m. We're going to start with the Open Winners bracket, round number 5, and it's going to be Chef versus whoever wins in the series before that. We'll let you know, but Chef, I'm looking forward to some good play, and we're going to finally focus on some players that we haven't got to see much this tournament so far.
Yeah, also make sure, guys, to watch the main stage tonight. I believe Stefano versus Polt will be going down. DJ Wheat and Day 9 are catching that, so that's going to be a huge epic series, so make sure you check that out. And with that, I believe we're done for the night. Make sure you guys check out the rest of the streams that are still going, and I bid you a good night. Yep,
so guys, we'll catch you tomorrow. Thanks again. This is the MLG Winter Championships here in Columbus, Ohio. This has been day 1 of gameplay stream number 1. We'll see you tomorrow.